My name is Blauer, and I'm the developer behind the High Gear suit. The High Gear is an impact reduction technology. It's designed originally for force-on-force training for the self-defense community. We're big with law enforcement and military. They have to do a lot of scenario training to stress inoculate. A long time ago, what started happening because of the gear's streamlined impact reduction properties, MMA guys started discovering it. So we've had guys over the years, Randy Couture, Diego Sanchez, Pat Militich, a host, David Loiseau, a host of great fighters and other people in the MMA community. The most important thing in any type of training, whether it's for self-defense, law enforcement, military, or MMA, is that people respect the maxim that training can and should hurt, because that's how you develop confidence, but training should never injure. Let me take a moment and introduce my good friend, Greg Amundsen. Greg is a sheriff from Santa Cruz. And what I'm going to take you through is a basic three-step threshold drill. The three-step threshold drill works like this. Greg, let me borrow you for a second. So come over here for a second. So watch what we're doing here. I'm going to simulate a slow motion tackle. You just jam me. Okay. So I'm over here now. At this point here, Greg's going to do a slow, controlled knee to my body. Okay. Do it a little bit faster, but no follow through. A little bit harder. So I'm starting to feel that. So do it a little faster. Now I'm starting to get hit. If he hits a rib and contuses it or damages me, so if we're sparring and he did that real time, real speed and caught me that clean, that might drop me. So the big principle for high gear is you don't really spar with high gear, you do isolation drills at high gear. So if I said go a little bit faster, a little bit harder, can you guys see that it's starting to impact me? And I'd feel that, I'd be going, hey, that's too hard. If he's training for a fight and I go, hey, that's too hard, what is he actually getting in the training? If I get injured, not hurt, injured, and I've got to stop or roll or change position, what am I getting in the training? So what we do is the threshold drill says this. Watch how simple the gear goes on. Usually two people put it on, but you pop it over the top, you grab around the back, it's all big Velcro, yank it down here, okay, pull it to the back, and now it's on. Do that side up on my shoulder there, Greg. Boom, and it's on. Okay, so now what'll happen is this. I'm training him for a fight. The only way that an athlete can get good at something, to have neuromuscular confidence, I'm going to fire this now, is to do reps. So pretend I don't have the gear. I'm going to come in, stuff me, and fire the knee right away. I'm going to simulate I don't have this on. So I come in here, knee comes in, and all of a sudden the guy's like this, and he's going, hang on a sec. Training stopped. Am I tentative the next time I come in? Yeah. So that was a way faster and harder knee. But I could simulate that again. So we do that same thing again. I'm gonna come in, he stuffs me, knee comes in, and you guys picking me up, and I'm feeling that through there. So I could say, as an athlete, can you go faster, can you go harder? He's gonna go, yeah. So what I do, if I'm training that way, is I will then take, because there's 3 layers of protection here, I will then take this. And again, this is all isolation training. When I first talked to Randy Couture about this, one of my favorite stories, I was showing him the gear, and I said, hey, I had it in my bag, and I said, hey, Randy, I got this new gear. I think it'll have good applications for stuff. And I'm yakking, and you could see he's looking at the bag going, hey, show me the gear already. So I open it up, I zip it open, and he looks at me and goes, that's your gear? I've been doing this pitch for 10 minutes, you know? And he goes, we already use your gear. We've got it up at our gym. I was like, oh. Okay, cool. So, but what he did is he did stations with it. He would have guys knee on chest drills, ground and pound drills. That's the way to use this properly. Now, we don't have the whole suit on. Doesn't matter. I've got extra protection. So we're gonna do that same drill again. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna go to grab you. You're gonna stuff me, fire the knee right away. So we're here, we're fighting. I come in here, and now I can do that over and over again. If he starts to telegraph, so we can go here, I stop, he starts to telegraph, there I just jammed it, so now we can say to the athlete, hey, clear my hand, get an underhook in there, then peel the knee. So you can start working stuff, but what's happening is he's ballistically moving in, and he's allowed, now he can spend, if he wanted to, a ridiculous amount of time just doing those knees with deep contact, deep penetration, because the gear allows you to go full speed, and you restrict the power. That's why we call it a threshold drill. I might be a lighter athlete, but you want to work, is in a real fight, speed and timing and accuracy is everything. Power, if you understand physics, is a product of all of that, how fast you can move on target accurately. So if I were a lighter or a bigger athlete, that would change. The threshold drill, you would communicate. If I'm over here like this, and we're practicing a ground and pound type thing, can I actually go wham and hit him in the face? How many reps could we do? You'd be like, okay, 1, So what guys end up doing is open hand, more of a valley tudo, or they'll pull. Okay, so we tell people this: if you're practicing for real fighting and you're practicing pulling or missing, you're practicing pulling or missing. But if he's a pro fighter or he's a business person or it's a kid, can I actually go slam and hit that elbow? Because I'm going to cut somebody, I'm going to bust a nose, and as an athlete or a business person or mother, father interested in training, you can't have that. So what we do is the same sort of thing. We'll take our helmet. Now, what's neat about this is you can do a threshold drill here. So what I would do is I would say I'm going to punch with speed, okay? But I'm going to ask you if I can follow through a bit more. So this is just a speed shot. I'm going to hit here, but you can see there's no contact. So am I pulling it? Yeah. So I'm going to do a little bit more penetration. I'm going to hit there. How's that feel? Good. Okay, can I go harder? A little bit harder. A little bit harder. You can hit that. How's that? Good. Okay, so now what I'm actually doing is we can be in this position here where the guy's jamming me, and I can actually go pop and hit that shot. And how do you feel in that? It's going. You can feel the shot. So he's going, hey, that penetrated, but there's no broken nose, so I can stand here. So let's say this guy's jamming my shoulder, and I want to get up here, pop, and I want to hit that shot across there. I can do that over and over again. I can swim out, boom, and come across with an elbow. What you would do if my training partner says, you know, those shots are getting a little fast, getting a little hard, what do? Just like we did the other stuff? How you doing in there? Good. Good. Is I would slip on the forearm pad. So again, in full-on isolation training, you take the piece of foam, the protection goes over the ulna bone, so it protects the ulna, this little bone here, one of the most bruised, damaged bones in all martial arts. So that's protected through here, elbow's protected forearm. So now that same speed shot that I go pop here, you probably felt about half the power because of the dispersion. Energy dispersion is lateral on that. So I can now stand here, I can do stuff, up, hit, because I got the chest guard on, boom, hit across here, work up on stuff, grab onto my body, and this, yeah. So I can do this exercise where I'm trying to do stuff with the guy, where I'll push him out, boom, and I hit the guy, dropping shots. So I don't have gloves on right now, but you could be slamming the guy and nailing him, but you're actually doing force on force, real speed reps with contact to a target, but now you have no cutting, laceration, or breaking risk on this guy because of the design inside the helmet. What we did in our glove, it's not nearly as padded as the UFC glove because it's designed again for SWAT and cops. They've got to be able to use their weapons. But we've got, again, plastic trauma plates everywhere in here. So if I were doing this, and again, zip this on real quick. So the real purpose or the real benefit for MMA, for the high gear suit, is really its isolation principle. That you can work knee on chest, you could work isolations, you could work different things. So if he's jamming me and I can't get a shot in here, when I can finally break free, I'm gonna nail that shot, and I'm gonna be able to start nailing the guy, but I'm actually making contact. If at this point here, he realizes he's getting clipped, so he gets his head in here, and he wraps up through here, I can push his head back, and I'm not gonna hit with my right arm because I didn't put the pad on, so I push him here, boom, and I can start dropping shots in there. He's eventually gonna cover, so he's gonna move away. So now I can slam a shot, but I'm actually making contact. And what's key about our gear is because it's so streamlined, there's no proximity sense distortion. This is resting right on Greg's nose. The way the energy goes is it disperses the blow this way, so the shot comes in and you can see it compress against his face. It reduces some of the whiplash, but he'll feel it in his nose. So supraorbital ridge gets popped. It can cause the eyes to water. You can actually get a bloody nose if you got a big nose. So if I go here and I go wham and I hit the guy and he gets a bloody nose, he can stay in the fight, his nose isn't broken, he gets to work through that pain. So there's a whole bunch of, some would think that's kind of a weird benefit to get a bloody nose. But if I can bloody somebody's nose or stun him through this, so if I go here like this and I go wham and I hit the guy here and he's like, whoa, if I took the helmet off, let's pop it off, and I said, hey, let's do that here, boom, and I did that same shot with no helmet, how many reps could we do? 1 rep.